Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhavatapa Pranashinne Ananda Ghanamurtaye Jnana Bhakti Pradayinne Matastubhyam Namo Namaha. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. I hope all of you are well, safe, and indoors. Don't go out because times are really not good. Bombay is really bad. Okay. In the last video I was talking about I went to Dhol, China to have lunch with Shanti Vrajji. Then, I wanted to narrate this to you. When we came back, I went to my room and suddenly I was itching all over, scratching all over, and I thought, what is happening to me? And there's no mirror in the ashram, so you really don't know what's happening to you. And suddenly I felt like my face was swelling up and my fingers were swelling up, and I broke into a terrible allergy. Luckily, I carry a medicine chest with me, a whole box of medicines. So I took out that box, and from that I took out an anti-allergic tablet, because I carry them. And I popped one tablet thinking that it will all subside. Nothing happened. And I took another one, and I took a third one, and it was finally, my friends were there, they panicked. And they thought like I was going to die because I had become completely blue. My fingers were blue, my face was blue. And later they told me that my eyes had also popped up, and there was something wrong with me. And I was just totally breathless. So they ran to Swami Bhaskaranandji, and said, Swamiji, please come, something has happened to her. And she's taken so much medicine, but nothing is happening. So Swamiji was very cool, and he said, tell her to come out. So they said, no, she can't walk. She's in a very bad state. So Swamiji said, okay, just hold her and bring her out in the courtyard. So it's an open area in Almora Ashram. So they brought me out. Swamiji looks at me and he tells me, dinner is ready. Just go and have a little bit of Brahm Khichdi. I couldn't believe it because I could hardly walk. I couldn't breathe and all that. I couldn't drink water also. And he's telling me to go and have Brahm Khichdi. So I said, Swamiji, I can't. I was going like that. I said, Swamiji, I can't swallow also, nothing. I'm totally like limp right now. He said, doesn't matter. Go and have a little khichdi, then we'll talk. I said, okay. So I managed to, they got hold of me and they took me to the kitchen, and where the food was served. I sat down, I just managed to sit down, and I had that Brahm Khichdi. Now what is Brahm Khichdi? Ma had taught us how to make Brahm Khichdi. So it's a lot of vegetables, rice and lentils, so you mix everything, saute it and all that, and then make the khichdi, which we've all learned. It's delicious, that khichdi. So during Sanyam in our ashram, in Ma and May ashram, every time in Sanyam, Brahm Khichdi is served, and it's called Brahm Khichdi. Ma named it that. So he told me, go and have the khichdi. You won't believe, I had that khichdi, and in a matter of say 1 hour or less than that, my entire allergy was gone. And it was just as if it was never there. I was exhausted, yes, but that allergy just subsided. Next morning I got up and I was absolutely fresh. So, Ma works in such different ways. And Swamiji was obviously Ma's instrument, There are so many times that I had seen, because Swami Bhaskaranji was a saint. It's very difficult to get saints like this, You go hunting all over the world, you won't find saints like this. Very humble, very down to earth. People who know Swami Bhaskaranji will know what I'm talking. Very humble, very down to earth, talks at whatever level you are, he'll communicate at that level with you. And no airs about him, no pomp, show, nothing, Very simple, and the moment you approach him, you feel you're approaching a father figure or a mother figure. Beautiful, beautiful he was, I really miss him. Today also I miss him. He's blessed me so much and he's helped me so much. and he's guided me so much. And I'm really saying that he was an instrument only in the hands of Ma. Sometimes when he would talk, his tone would change, and suddenly we knew that it was Ma talking through him. It was like that. So this was one incident that I wanted to narrate to you. Then there was another incident, I've written down, because there are so many incidents that I forget then to narrate it to you. And like I said, I want to narrate something that is not in the book. So I hope in the future you read this, whenever. One day, see, I don't know anything about Sanskrit, okay? I've never learned Sanskrit. We were in school where we were, I had taken French as a subject. Not that I know anything about French also. So there was an option of either Sanskrit or French. And we had taken French. So obviously I didn't know anything about Sanskrit, right? My father was a Sanskrit scholar, he was something else. But Swamiji calls me to his room when I was in Almora. And he has this book in his hand and he's, looking at the book and reading like this and all that. And then he tells me, okay, now when you go back to Bombay, you do the Chandi. So I said, Chandi? What is Chandi? See, I was so raw, I was so naive and so raw about this path, about spirituality or about anything. I was very raw. I didn't know anything. So I said, Chandi, 1 minute. I said, let me get a notebook, a pen, and I will write down what you're saying. So I wrote down Chandi. Okay. Then he said, from Saptashati, you do Durga Saptashati, you do this. Now I said, now what is that? Not knowing that Chandi and Durga Saptashati is the same thing, which obviously later I know. But that time, it was foreign. So I wrote down Durga Saptashati, I said, okay. Then he says, you do chapter 1, 4, 5 and 11. I said, what? So I wrote down. I thought, God knows, must be some, few lines here and there. I just didn't know. And I'm looking at him and I said, in what language is it? He said, Sanskrit. I said, Sanskrit? You think I know Sanskrit? He says, no, you'll manage. So I wrote down. Before I proceed, I want to tell you that I obviously feel, okay, this is my feeling. Today I can speak Sanskrit. In the sense I can chant and I can read and, I'm not an expert, but I'm not a Pandit, but I can manage, okay? And all these chapters are like by heart. But I really feel it's not possible to learn like this when somebody just tells you and you know not one word of Sanskrit. To chant like this or to do anything like this, I'm sure there's some connection from my past life. Otherwise, another thing is like in 10, 15 years, can a person become a sannyasi? It was just a matter of I got my sannyas, I think in 2012, and this is 2020. So in 2012, I started my journey in 95, and 2012, I got my sannyas. It's not possible. I really believe that in the past life, I must have done something to get this in this lifetime. It's beautiful. So, okay, I wrote down everything. Then I came back to Bombay and I was in a panic situation. I didn't know how to do anything. So I called up my Pandit who was in Bombay, the Brahmin. And I said, he's given me all this and I really don't know what to do. And what is all this? Is there a book? Is there something? I was asking all these questions. So he started laughing and he's saying, don't worry. I'll come and give you the book and I'll explain everything to you. And I'll give you cassettes also so you can hear them. And then, so I said, okay, is it like short or what? He says, no, it's pages and pages. I said, pages and pages? He says, yes. Okay, so he brought it. And I think in 20 days, I was listening to it every day. In 20 days, everything was by heart. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's not possible to get the pronunciation right. It is very important to get the pronunciation. Now, Chandi, what there is about Chandi, I think I need to tell you. There is an entire book of Chandi. But whether it is Chandi or whether it is Pranav, Ucharan, or whether it is any other like Mahamrityunjay Jap or whatever, it is always done with the authority of your Guru. Only if the Guru gives you the authority, because you have to be dikshit in it. Usme diksha leni padti hai. You have to get your diksha, initiation into it. And then you can do the entire thing. So that's why Ma has given us only these 4 chapters to do for the people who have not been initiated into it. So this is first, fourth, fifth and 11th chapters of Chandi. So that was how Swamiji was slowly molding me into this, into this path. Little instructions. Every time I had an experience, I would call up Swamiji and say, Swamiji, this happened to me, or Ma came and said this to me, or this happened to me. He says, yes, it's correct. And then he would guide me. So, you need somebody like that who's like a friend, a philosopher and guide for you, which I was very lucky, very fortunate, because I got Swami Bhaskaranandji, I got my father, I got Swami Nirvananandji also, I got Swami Nirvananji also, I got Ashok Baba also, and of course my mother was there. So I'm always indebted to these people to give me so much support, to travel on this path. It was beautiful, because so many people were. And where did all these people come from? Tell me that. Obviously it was Ma. Obviously she sent them, and that's how they were here. And they were guiding me all the time. And there was another incident in Almora, which is so true again. Almora Ashram, we were sitting one day in the courtyard. There's Ma's room where the kirtan goes on. It was tiny that time. Today I don't know what it is. It's a beautiful room. Ma ka photo hai. And they do kirtan over there. So outside is like a little angan, like a little courtyard. And then the courtyard is pretty big. So we were sitting outside the room. Swami Bhaskaranji, Swami Nirvananji and me. Just three of us. And those days I was in plain clothes, like salwar kurta or whatever I was wearing. I was not a brahmachari that time, nothing. And Swamiji looks at me, and we were doing satsang. So he looks at me and he says, always remember, blood relation is no relation. It's only the spiritual bondage that makes a family. And I heard him, and I said, sounds so good. And it is so true. Blood relation is okay. She's my mother, she's my father. How permanent is it? It is not permanent. Today your mother is there, your father is there, your brother is there, your sister is there. They are here with you. Is it permanent? No, it is not. They have come to do their roles in this life. I have come to do my role. They have come to do their roles. And once the roles are over, their prarabdha is over, it's done, and they're gone. So it's so temporary. And we are, as human beings, looking in this world for something permanent. Now we're looking for something permanent in an impermanent world. How is that possible? Permanency in an impermanent world is not possible. So we get so attached to everything, like these are my parents, these are my relations, these are my relatives, this is my son, this is my daughter. It goes on that way in life. And that itself, that attachment itself is your limitation, is your bondage, which makes you come back. If you realize, like if you see my movies, when you were seeing my movies, whoever's seen my movie, you have seen me on the small screen as XYZ name, whatever that name is. Am I that? No, I'm not that. It's a small screen which is projecting something, a character that I was playing. Similarly, this world is a very big screen on which we are portraying our roles, and Ma is watching us, how are we portraying the roles. But we are not that. Like today I'm saying I'm not Nita Mehta. Please do not call me by that name because I'm dead and gone. So am I Nityanand today? Am I Swami Nityanand Giri today? In this physical body, maybe. But am I really that? No, I'm not. So who am I? Is the search we are here for. God has sent us only for that. Find yourself. Come to self-realization. Go within. Go inside. And find yourself. Jai Baba. Om Bhavata Pranashine Ananda Ghanamurtaye Jnana Bhakti Pradayine Matastubhyam Namo Namaha. Jai Baba. Jai Baba.